Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Entrepreneur Middle East. Today we're here at the DCD booth and we're having a bunch of very, very cool exclusive interviews. And with me up next is a very special guest. It's Talal Tabbaa. He's the founder and CEO of CoinMENA. Pleasure having you here.
Likewise. Pleasure to be with you.
How's everything? I think it's been a couple of months since we had our previous interview, so it's great to see where you're now.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess Jitex for us has a special place in our heart because we technically launched CoinMENA
Really?
in Jitex 2021
No way.
when it was still before it was moved to the harbor.
Post-COVID, you've launched it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So tell me a little bit about CoinMENA's journey then. How did it all begin for you?
Yeah, so actually it didn't begin for me. It's three of us. So
Okay.
myself, Dina, and Yazan, we're three founders or co-founders at CoinMENA. And really, when you want to start a company, you have two ways of doing it. At least that's the framework that I like to think of. One is the push method, where you think of an idea and you try to push it to the market to see if there's people that are going to pay money for whatever you're doing. So it's more of an exploration thing. The pull model is you figure out there's a disaster in the market, which is our previous competitors, and you go to serve that specific need where you're being pulled into it.
Okay.
So with CoinMENA, I used to be a very angry customer of other crypto exchanges in the Middle East due to unreliable service, a bunch of reasons. So we decided to create CoinMENA to address that specific need.
Which is very important because I believe trust is something very difficult to obtain in the decentralized space.
Yeah, I mean...
How do you do it?
I guess trust requires a lot of time to be built, and it just takes one mess up to screw it up. But to be honest, the way that you address this is you build the same way traditional financial institutions were built. So I guess one of the things that in crypto you have investors and entrepreneurs like myself and others that are on a spectrum of how anti-establishment versus we'll go along and converge with traditional finance. So we believe that traditional finance did a lot of good things and they did some bad things. I want to take the good and leave the bad.
Okay.
But things like insurance,
Learn on
things
their
like
sake.
separation between custody and exchanges. So for example, at CoinMENA, we work with BitGo, which is the leading digital asset custodian, where our customers' assets are not sitting with us, they're sitting with a regulated custodian. And this is how it works for stocks. So for example, if you go to a stockbroker, the stockbroker will not hold the stock. The stock is sitting with a custodian, and the custodian's only job is to control that stock or crypto. And this is done in a way where it creates checks and balances so that the companies that are profit-oriented have checks and balances that eventually serve to protect the customer.
Amazing. And how do you see you guys, contributing to this incredible digital economy that we have here?
I mean, Dubai's economy is growing at an exponential pace. So
We can't keep up with it.
of
It's
course,
crazy.
you have to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And I guess more importantly is if you are working, like, I guess I believe that for maximum upside, you need to work in an industry that's fast growing in a region or a country or a city that's fast growing. So for me, I chose crypto and Dubai, which means even if I do a okay job, my company is going to do great because I'm in a great place. I'm in a great industry. Whereas if I was selling dishwashers, even if I was doing it in the best country in the world, there's only limited demand for new dishwashers.
For a new dishwasher, right? So tell me, do events such as Expand North Star, for example, do they help you, let's say, meet new people, find that networking, find those connections? Would you say that this is something that you love going to?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned to you earlier that we launched CoinMENA as part of Jitex in 2021.
So these events have a special place in your heart.
Especially because it allows us to benchmark how much we've reached, right? Because you remember those events when you go back to the same place.
Yeah.
You want to see how you've progressed over time. So I think we've built a pretty strong brand with CoinMENA, and we've been very focused on our growth in Dubai.
Right. How would you define your success today? What is success to you?
So we have not succeeded yet. I think anyone that says we've succeeded is already on the way to fail. Because success is a perpetual thing. It's easy to get on top. It's much harder to stay on top. So I don't think we've succeeded. We are on the way to succeed. But it's very important not to become complacent.
Right.
And the reason why I didn't like the crypto exchanges in the Middle East is they had a good start, but then they became relaxed. They became complacent. So we came in, and new players will come in and try and capture that market. So
Right.
I always like to tell our team is that we're going in the right direction, but by no means have we succeeded.
And how do you keep that passion going and that motivation going?
Oof. It's hard, but the best way to do it is because what do your team members want? I think it's a combination of three things. One is financial compensation and upside. Other is recognition and being appreciated. And third is having some work-life balance or some work-life setup. It might not be a pure balance, but so for financial upside, I'm of the opinion that it's impossible to achieve financial safety if you're only going through a salary. So that's why most of our team members own shares in the company.
Okay.
Because if you're working from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or even 24/7, you only have 24 hours to make money because your time is being exchanged for money.
And I'm remembering our previous interview now, you were constantly telling me how you were investing in all these different things because of that.
Yeah, I think that if your time is making you money, then it's impossible to keep up with the expenses of life. You need your assets to be making you money, and so we solve financial upside by giving our team members shares. Recognition. We have a beautiful HR team that always keeps things fresh for our team,
Right.
even though we're remote. And then work-life balance. I'd be lying if I told you we've sorted that out.
It's a difficult one.
In crypto, you have to have your life in the bear market and your work in the bull market. So the work-life balance, the industry solves it for you. Where when Bitcoin is at 115,000, you don't really have.
Right.
Yeah, you need to work. Where
Right.
as when it's more relaxed, you'll have no option but to relax. As well.
What's our future situation with crypto like? Would you advise people to invest in it?
I don't give anyone advice.
Okay.
Because that is a very
Personal.
dangerous thing to do, and anyone that makes an investment needs to make sure that he or her understands the risk. But as His Highness Sheikh Mohammed says, the biggest risk is not to take risk. أو أكبر مخاطرة ألا تخاطر. So I think that in the world of today, the need for money that can't be tampered with is becoming increasingly important. So crypto aside, I think Bitcoin is our generation's best opportunity. And again, that's only my opinion, not investment advice.
Even if there's a specific supply of Bitcoin there, from what I heard.
Specifically because of that reason.
So it could be controlled then, the
No,
supply
so-
and demand.
I believe that the fact that supply is deterministic and no one can
And
mess
it's not
around-
unlimited.
and it's limited.
Yeah.
There's only going to be 21 million. It's very similar to gold's dynamics, where you have about 200,000 tons of gold above the surface of the earth, and the supply of gold has never increased by more than 2-3% every year, which is why
Right.
gold is good at storing value.
Right, right, right. Amazing. What sort of pieces of advice would you give to young entrepreneurs out there when it comes to, certain maybe character traits that they need to have? Since,
Honestly, the best piece of advice I've heard from anyone comes from Coinbase's CEO, and that is if you don't know what to do something and get data from that something, and that data will tell you what you should be doing. And if you do it again and you don't know what to do something. And basically, if you're unsure whether to launch a product or not, launch it, measure its success, see how many users used it. If only one user used it in the first month, then it's not a good product. Or maybe you've done something wrong, you've not marketed the right way. So I guess experimentation in the age of entrepreneurship that's easy to iterate is going to be the best way forward.
Right.
And with the use of AI, and I've tried to promise myself not to talk about AI in this podcast because
Yeah.
it's way too hype. But the reality is it's easier for you to experiment in 2025 than it is 10, 20 years ago. So
Right, 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 right.
that's what I would tell entrepreneurs is go for it.
Okay, now I have a little quiz trivia for you. You're gonna have to pick a couple of cards from the deck, the purple ones, and answer the question.
No prizes?
Unfortunately, no.
Right.
We should come up with a couple of
What
prizes.
did your first big mistake as a founder teach you? Oof. My first big mistake as a founder was prior to CoinMENA. So CoinMENA was not my first startup. And the first big mistake is not having a clear dispute resolution mechanism. What does that mean? When things are going well, it's very easy to clap. You go out for dinner, everything's fine. What happens when we disagree?
Right.
What is the
What are the
process to
steps?
resolve that? Do we seek an external expert? Do we have an advisor between us? Like, let's say we're 4 partners at a company. What happens if 2 vote this way and 2 vote this way? Do we get stuck? What do we do? So you need to, in the good days, you need to simulate what happens when the bad days come so that they're not bad. Because if you know what's going to happen and how you resolve it, then it becomes easier to solve.
That's actually a really good piece of advice. And it's also very difficult, I think, to meet the right people in the industry and to be partnered up. So in case their disputes do come, it's very important that you know what the solution to that is. So
And
yeah.
there's different ways you could do it. So, for example, one way is majority. Some don't do 50-50, you do 51
Which I don't
49.
agree with actually, because what if that one idea is actually what's going to save you? It's I think having external advisors might be a little bit more of a balanced technique. What do you think?
Yeah, fair. I think external advice, and that's why board of directors are there.
Yeah.
At CoinMENA, we've had to set up boards because we're regulated companies. So under VARA and under Central Bank of Bahrain, etc., you have to set up boards. So boards are good structures, that governance structures that allow you to maneuver through these situations.
Right,
Because
right.
companies fail for three main reasons. First is they run out of cash. Second is founders disputes, and third of lack of focus or product market fit. I'd say
Right.
those are the three reasons in my view.
I swear I feel like you have all the risks there like outlined and you know exactly like what potentially could go wrong. Your plan A, B, C, D. You seem so like educated and everything.
If
It's
you
crazy.
speak to my team, they will tell you the exact opposite. They will tell you, "Oh,
Really?
just says go for it."
So it's just you preparing for the interview now.
Yeah, fair, fair.
No, but really, like I've never heard so many solutions or potential plans to, let's say, a problem within a company. So I like the way you think.
Thank you.
It's extremely important, I think, in entrepreneurs. One more question for you.
One more. How do you define success as an entrepreneur? Wow, this one has changed so much over time. If you asked me 10 years ago, it would have been a dollar sign.
So success
How many
equals
dollars?
money.
How many dollars? And now it's completely different. It is now my biggest KPI as Talal is how many of my team members go out and open up new companies that I end up funding. Because if you look at PayPal and who were the team behind PayPal, literally most of the big companies you have today are from the PayPal mafia. YouTube, Tesla, literally the management team of PayPal, every or most of them went out to become very, very successful entrepreneurs. So, and I guess also another thing that changed for me as success for, okay, so first of all, success for an entrepreneur has to include making money for your shareholders, because as an entrepreneur, it's a sexier way of saying business owner or boss or arbab or whatever you want to call it. It's just a different way. But as an entrepreneur, you have shareholders, and your job, the definition of your job, is to make money for those investors. So I would say first level of success for an entrepreneur is to take care of your investors, and that means making them money, not letting them take excessive risk, etc. Second, and more importantly for me, is the impact that you're leaving. Right? If I wanted to only make money, I'd probably open a casino because it's the easiest way to make money, but then I'd be ruining people's lives. So, because in my opinion, it's not a.
I agree. Yeah.
People have different views. That's on my own personal
It's,
view.
the peace of mind is very important, I think, in success.
At CoinMENA, we are able to make money while our customers also make money. And maybe I'm not as religious, but I think in Sharia, finance, they've done it super well. And that's why debt is not allowed. So let's compare debt and equity. With equity, me and you win together. If the company does well, both of us win, great. If the company loses, both of us lose, and that's business. Whereas in other setups, the company gains when the customer loses. A casino gains when the customer loses. Some other trading platforms, the ones that offer leverage and CFDs and what have you, they gain when the customer loses. So my definition of success as an entrepreneur is that I'm able to make money while leaving the world a better place and leaving a positive externality, or basically you do well by making money, but also your service is improving the lives of others as opposed to screwing it over.
That's such a beautiful way of looking at things, honestly. No, but it's great to hear that, and it's great to hear your mindset. And to all those entrepreneurs, young generations out there, please listen to such advice because honestly, it was very insightful. Thank you so much for the interview today, Talal, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And to many more.
Thank you for having me.